Hello. So this video is going to be a quick little TBR for December, at least the first part of December, and also kind of a book haul. I got two new books that I'm going to show you here in a second. So anyway, let's get started. So, the first book I'm going to be reading, well, I'm starting now. I've already started. But it's going to be, actually, hold on. I just finished A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. So I'm going to film a review for this momentarily. So that's kind of the first one. The next one is going to be Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. It's a really short story. This is mostly other short stories. I think it's only 100 pages. So I'm going to film a review for that. That's the next one. This will be my second Edith Wharton. I think this one's her most popular. I don't know. I've heard different things. Anyway, I know it's different. A lot of her novels, most of her novels have to do with like upper crust New York society people, and this one's like a poor farmer in New England. But I read House of Mirth, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to reading more Edith Wharton. Okay, then the next book is going to be Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. I've actually read this several times, and I know this isn't what it's a classic, but I think it's really good, and it holds a really special place in my heart, but I'll get into that when I do the review of it. Then, this is one of the books I just received in the mail today, and it is Memories of My Melancholy Whores by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I've read 100 Years of Solitude, which I have a review of, and then I just read Love in the Time of Cholera, and I really liked that a lot more than I liked 100 Years of Solitude, and I wanted to read some more Garcia Marquez, and this is I think his last novel, I want to say. I'm pretty sure this is the last one, not right before, but pretty close before he died. Anyway, it was really hard to find English translations of this. I think because it's kind of controversial and it was his last work, and his career had taken place over so much time that he'd kind of fallen out of the realm of being like an actual working writer. But anyway, I found it for super cheap. Nice little hardcover edition of it. It's pretty nice, and I like when you take the dust jacket off. It just says like Gabriel Garcia Marquez there. You can see that's kind of cool. I like it. Although I usually almost exclusively keep the dust jackets on my hardcover books. And the reason why, I'm going to tell you, I usually don't buy hardcover, but the reason why these two that I bought were in hardcover is because for whatever reason they were cheaper. I don't know. They were cheaper. And anyway, the next book on my list is The Angel of Darkness by Ernesto Sabato, who, if you remember, is the author of The Tunnel, and is an Argentinian, and I just read The Tunnel and reviewed it, and it was wonderful, fantastic novel. He only wrote 3 novels. The first one being The Tunnel. The second one's called On Heroes and Tombs. And the last one is The Angel of Darkness. And I've heard really interesting things about this book. That the main character is the author, but not in the way that that's usually done, apparently. It seems like a really complicated book. I don't know. It seems really interesting. And The Tunnel was really interesting, and it was really hard to locate a copy of this, and I ended up finding a hardcover copy. That's all I could find, and I actually think it looks really cool. I like it. I really want to read On Heroes and Tombs, but it's been impossible to find a copy of it in English. And I know some Spanish, but I don't know Spanish well enough to read a novel in Spanish and really understand what's going on. especially one that's as complicated and dense as his novels are. Oh, it's a real bummer. I've been able to find like some used copies of On Heroes and Tombs, but they're like $40. And I'm gonna try to read this first, and if I really like this as much as I like The Tunnel, I'll end up sucking it up and finding a copy of On Heroes and Tombs. But just a shout out, if anyone has a copy that they don't want anymore, hit this guy up. Okay, I have one more book on my TBR, and this one I think I'm going to do kind of differently. And that would be The Pickwick Papers by Charles Dickens. Now, it's kind of a fat book, and I was thinking I was going to go it all at once, but I don't want to have, like... This is my thought process. I know it's going to take me a while to get through this. But I didn't want to have it where I didn't have any videos, and then I was thinking I would do this thing where I would just read it, but every week I would just kind of go over wherever I was at, the section I had read that week, and talk about it. But this would be the only thing I was going to be reading. But then, what I thought would be cool, and if you didn't know this, Charles Dickens' novels were published in parts. They were serialized. So what I thought would be cool is to find the original schedule of which chapters of this were published together, and it'd be, I think I have the schedule, but it was like part 1 was chapters 1 and 2, and then a month later was part 2 with chapters, 3 and 4, and then like 5 through 6, and stuff like that, so forth. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to read it per week, read it like the way it was serialized. And I think that'd be really interesting because I've heard, especially with this being like his first novel, you can kind of see the changes that he makes, especially when you keep in mind like this was done at once and then this was published the next month. And so if you think that'd be interesting, let me know in the comments below. I'd really like to know what you guys think of that. And as far as this month, that should be the majority of what I'm reading. I might get through it faster because my school semester is going to be ending here shortly. But you never know. I always get sidetracked, so who knows. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good life and enjoy reading.